Hey everybody, this is Dan Rowe here at Rowe Reptiles Reptile Facility, and we're going to bring to you another science class from the reptile building. Last class, if you didn't see the video, was all about eggs. If you haven't seen that, check it out. Pretty informative. Any questions? Happy to fill those answers in for you after the fact. Today's subject by request is all about reptile tails. And when we say tails, we're not talking about myths or stories or legends or long tails. We're talking about the physical appendage that is behind the legs, kind of attached to the butt of our reptile friends. Particularly today, we're going to be talking about lizard tails. So when we think about tails, what do we think about? Different types of tails, right? And kind of why or how they evolved to have a tail like they do. Lots of different species have very unique tails, and so we're going to try to break them down into some categories and show you some examples of animals with those types of tails, okay? Some of the animals have tails that kind of fit in both categories or multiple categories, but we're going to focus on primary categories for different animals today, okay? And so today we're going to start off with prehensile tails. So tails that are kind of like a fifth appendage, right? So you think about like a monkey can use that to swing or hold itself up or do things with it, and it acts kind of like a fifth leg. And so let me start off with one of our species that has a tail similar to that. And similar to the species, the animal we just talked about, that is a monkey tail skink. If you look here, he's already wrapping me around with this appendage that he's got, and he can use this like a fifth arm, okay? And he can climb on, he can hold on to the branches, make sure he doesn't fall, that kind of thing, okay? So that is a monkey tail skink. Say hello. All right. And then next up, we've got Ibrahim, and he's going to show us another species that's got a tail that acts like that as well.
This is a pink-tongued skink. It's another one of our skinks. These guys use their tail to wrap around trees and stuff.
And so show them the tail. They can't see. All right, so nice long tail that is also used kind of like another appendage. All right, perfect. Thanks, buddy. Oh, then those claws. Yasmin, what do you got here for us today, species-wise, that has a tail like another arm?
So this is Big Red and his girlfriend. So this is Big Red. Put him up there for a second. And this is his girlfriend, which we have some babies from. These guys, she has a very kind of skinny tail, but then he has no tail. When he was little, he got his head stuck in a cork, and he freaked out and he dropped his tail. Unfortunately, these guys cannot grow them back. So he'll be stuck with this little stub, as you can see, for all of his life. And then she does have one, so it doesn't really matter to us if they have a tail or not. It just, we love them.
All right, and the interesting fact about that is their predators will actually bite the tail, and so in addition to the prehensile tail, they're kind of a defensive mechanism that allows the predator to bite that. It wiggles and is a treat for the predator while they run away and live another day. Here we are, one of the small monitors in the dwarf monitor family. This is a Varanus gilleni. And it's one of the monitors that has a prehensile tail. And so this little arboreal monitor is going to climb up in the trees and get between the bark and kind of use this more prehensile tail in order to prevent itself from falling off the tree and gives itself a little bit more stability there. All right, next up, what are we thinking about other types of tails today? Okay, we talked about using a prehensile tail as a fifth appendage. Let's talk about some kind of defensive tails, right? When you think about defensive tails, you might think about dinosaurs, right? Stegosaurus and other dinosaurs that had those big spiky tails that used them as weapons, right? And so if we think about some modern day species that might have tails like that, Ibrahim is going to show you a couple of very cool spiky-tailed lizards.
These guys are spiky-tailed lizards, and this guy has a cool spiky tail that uses to whack animal, like swing the animals, like predators away. And like if they're in a rock crevice and they're trapped, then they could swing this, and the animal would.
Here, let me hold that. So this is an ocellated Euromastix with this type of tail, right? Okay, and what do you got there, Ibrahim?
This is another Euromastix spiny tail lizard. This guy has this even smaller one, and it's big and chunky, and where this one's long and skinny.
Okay, and what kind of Euromastix is that?
This one's a Omani Euromastix.
Ah, okay. Euromastix tonisi, right? All right, awesome. And Yas, I think you've got one more defensive animal to show us.
Yes, I do.
All right, Ibrahim, let me give you those. And here's one of my favorites, one you don't see very much anymore. And what is this, Yas?
So this is an armadillo lizard.
All right. And what is unique about it?
So what it does is it'll wrap its tail all the way to its face and bite it, and that makes all the spikes from its back and tail poke out.
Okay, so it reaches around, grabs its tail in its mouth, and it spreads out those spikes, right? And so now it's like a big pine cone or something sharp, right? And so nobody wants to come in and eat that. And so, all right, perfect. Thank you. All right, and we've got one more spiky tail species here. And this one is a gurnia. So cute little bird-like faces that these guys got, right? But if you look over here, if we can get him without losing him, because they are very, there we go. Spiky tail, similar to the Euromastix, but this is in the skink family, the Agurnia. All right, say hello. Perfect. All right, next up, we've got a different type of defensive tail, and let's see if you can figure that out with the one Yasemin's going to show us. All right, so this one, if we show you the tail, you might say, oh man, look at that spiky tail, right? It's actually not spikes, but they're actually tubes. So this is a Strophoris gecko from Australia, and it's a spiny-tailed gecko, but really those spines are tubes. And so if you got this little gecko upset at you, similar to a skunk, it would actually squirt a nasty, gooey, smelly substance at you with pretty good accuracy. And you don't want that happening. And if I'm an animal that was going to eat it, I'm definitely not going to want to eat something that tastes or smells like that, right? And so this is a defensive mechanism, but more like a skunk than actually being an ouchy, spiky tail. All right, perfect. Thank you, Yasmin. All right, so we did defensive tails. Let's talk about some tails that kind of help us getting around. Yeah, Ibrahim?
This is a conehead lizard. It has a very long tail that helps keep it balanced when it's climbing. And these guys are great climbers.
Awesome. So they kind of hang that down over the branch, and so they're able to kind of stay propped up on top of the branch on some narrow branches, right? And when they're jumping or springing from branch to branch, they kind of tilt it around in order to stay on balance. Great job. And these, you can see, these are probably going to be on every one of our videos because we love these guys so much. All right, thank you, Ibrahim. All right, so we've got prehensile tails, we've got spiky tails, we've got stinky tails, we've got balancing tails. Yasmin, what do you have now?
We have a fat storage tail. So these guys, unlike the crest geckos, these guys, if they lose their tail, they will grow them back because this tail holds all their fat storage. So they easily can grow them back, unlike
so
crest geckos.
That's similar to, say, a camel, right? Who's got a hump or two. That's where they store, right, their energy for the desert and things. And these guys definitely come from Pakistan, Afghanistan, that area, and definitely need to kind of store up that food reserve for when it might not be available, right? Awesome. That looks great. All right. What do we got left? We've got camouflage, I think. So let's see. Can you see this lizard when Yasemin shows it? So this one is more of a defense by not being seen, right? And so this is an Australian leaf-tailed gecko. And if you can see that guy down there, his tail, the trees and the branches and the bark that these guys live on, they would be perfect camouflage. So if they kind of sit still against that bark, then you're not going to see them. They're going to blend in, and hopefully the predator passes them by and goes eat some other more less camouflage species, while these guys survive another day. All right, I think that sums it up for all of our different types of tails today. I hope this was educational. I hope you know a little bit about the variety of tails that different lizards have, and we look forward to more classes later this week. And if you have any comments, or if you have any questions, or have any more topics for us, please comment below. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks, bye.